Hello, students. And by request, I'm going to walk you through our studio and how to create and uh, display contingency tables based on a set of raw data. So what we can do is we can open up our studio. It should look pretty blank here. What I will do is I will save onto Blackboard the file statistics course taken analysis and the data set. So they'll both be in the file for you to use. But let's venture in here. We're going to first import the data set in the upper right panel. And you're going to go to from Excel. That should bring you to this window where you're going to browse over on the right side. And browse for the file that you're interested in. So for me, I put it into downloads. So if you clicked on it for Blackboard, it would be in your download file as well. And you're going to do student course taking, and you're going to open up that data set. And you'll see down here in the lower right, this is the code that R is going to use to bring in that data set. So if you were coding and not using this quick import option, you could use this to automatically pull it from your computer. So if you wanted, you could copy and paste this and then run that instead and not have to bring it in each time. But as you can see, the data is here. In its full form. There's no missing data if you scan through it, but this is a preview. So if your data file is big, you'll only see the first few. So now what you're going to do is you're going to click on import. And then that'll bring you to here, where you can see that the data set shows up in this screen, in this panel 1, and also on the right here in panel 2. So if you expand that down, you'll see all the different variables that you have in R. So these are the different qualitative variables. So when we're dealing with contingency tables, they're qualitative variables that we're going to compare with each other. And they're existing over here. And on this side, you have a brief preview of what it looks like. And this looks very much like an Excel file right here. So we're going to go back to up here, statistics course taken analysis in R. This will be the file that you'll be able to open up from Blackboard. And some stuff that you might want to do is you can create tables. So if you wanted to create a table for, like we did before, student course taking, you start typing it, and then you can click on it, and it'll put the rest of the label for the data set right there. The $ says, let's pick a variable. And the minute you do $, these should pop up. If not, just start typing, and one of them will appear. And we're just going to do degree program as a review. And if you run that, then you can see here down in the output panel in the lower left, you can see all of the frequencies for the different categories for degree programs. So here, pretty standard, liberal arts AA is the most common at Ostos. And just to let you know, this data set is fictitious. I made it up. I just selected a bunch of possible values, and I made up some extra variables for us to play with. So these are all made up data. This is actually not data on any students. If you were wondering. So what else could we do? So contingency tables usually have two variables that they relate. So if we're interested, perhaps we're interested in looking at degree program, but we also want to look at the same time, let's say student status. So we're going to do a comma, and then we start typing student course taking again. If you hit tab, it'll automatically populate it. If not, you can just click it and it'll finish typing it for you. And then the good part about not typing it entirely and selecting it instead is a guarantee that it'll point to this. So if you don't do that, if you type something even a little bit off, R will yell at you down here in the output. So let's say I did this and I started, typing in, what did I say, student. Actually, you know what I could do? Let's do that. And then we could do student. And I'm going to type it in myself instead. I'm going to put student status. I'm going to try to type it. And if I tried running it that way, it's going to give me an error. It's going to say unexpected symbol, which means there's something missing here. And that became a problem because of this variable I typed in instead of just selecting. So it's much better to select. You just start typing student. And again, you could hit tab or click on it and it'll finish populating it. The reason R puts it in quotes is because of the space confuses R. But the quotes here say this is a full word that you want to keep together. A lot of technology does this actually. So if you have a space in computer programs or even in documents or Excel files, sometimes spaces confuse it. So we have these little quotes that in R says this is all going to go together. So you can ignore the space because it's one thing. So hopefully that helps. And then what we can do is now that we have both of these, right, what's great is we can now run it. So I got to move my bar here, it's in the way. So we can hit the run. And now look, this actually is a contingency table. So if you look at the data in terms of how it was displayed in the file, we have degree program here, all different ones just listed in words. We have student status right here, part-time, full-time, part-time, part-time, full-time. So you can see that there's lots of connections across these, right? So liberal arts is a part-time one here, liberal arts, this is a full-time. So you would put one under full-time, one under part-time. What R does is it counts all of this for you and generates this table so you don't have to do all that work. And it can work for any two variables you want to match. Suppose you want to look at degree program by ethnicity. So again, the trick is you type in the data set and tab over or click on it so that you select the data set, and then you can select the variable. And again, when you hit run down here, it'll display the demographic data. And that's pretty much it for contingency tables in R. Let's just do one more that's completely different. Let's do student course taking, and let's do semester, comma, and then we'll do student course taking, and we'll do course to see what other data we have in here. If we hit run, it looks like fall. So these were fake terms or semesters that students took different types of courses. So I said there was English, psychology, and statistics perhaps they were taking. And here were the semesters. So you can see the counts again. So we have another contingency table relating the semester in which students took it and the course that they took. That's it for R. I hope this was informative and really helped in terms of how to go about doing this work in R. Play around with it. You can play around with this file all you want. And then of course, in unit 3, there now is a mini project. If you like doing contingency tables instead of regression, this one's for you. If you want to do regression, you can check out the Microsoft Excel, where I go in detail how to do regression. There's also in the Excel file a way to do what we just did here, but in Excel using pivot tables. So go check that out if you want to see what's possible in the other technology platform. Okay, good luck on the mini project.